I saw a Reddit post recently that asked, what B2B marketing strategy worked until it suddenly didn't? And one of the answers was gated content. Things like white papers, ebooks, webinar registrations. And the argument was basically gated content used to work, then buyers stopped tolerating trash in their inboxes, and AI search started giving people the same basic information without forcing them to fill out a form.
I'm Amanda Natividad. Welcome to Zero Click Marketing.
Now, I'm not going to pretend that this one-off Reddit thread is gospel, but I do think it's a signal, and it's something that people have been whispering about for years, really. While gated content isn't dead, I do think the fantasy is waning. For a long time, B2B marketing had this bargain. You give us your email address, and we give you the thing. And sometimes that was a fair trade. Like if the thing was genuinely valuable, original research, benchmark data, a useful template, a live event with an actual expert. That made sense. But a lot of B2B teams took that bargain and stretched it into something much worse. You give us your email address and we give you a 12-page PDF with subheaders in size 48 font that could have been a LinkedIn carousel. You give us your email address and we give you a guide that mostly says, define your goals, know your audience, measure your results. For years, companies could get away with this because buyers had fewer options. And if you wanted the information, you had to go where the information lived. And if the information lived behind a form, fine. You filled out the form, you used your real email address if you were feeling sincere, or you would use a temporary service like 10-minute email. Either way, the company got to count you as a lead. But that world is changing because buyers have more ways to get answers without you. They can ask ChatGPT, Google, Perplexity, Reddit, YouTube, a private community, or even a competitor's ungated post. The buyer doesn't need to enter your funnel just to learn the basics anymore, because so much of B2B marketing was built around the idea that the website was the center of the buyer journey. The buyer lands on the website, fills out the form, becomes a lead, gets scored, and then everyone gets to feel like the system is working because there are numbers on a dashboard and the person moved to a sales qualified lead in a few weeks. But the actual buyer journey is much messier than that. It's definitely messier today than it was 10 years ago. I'm saying all this because gated content assumes a kind of neatness that doesn't exist. And in many cases, it assumes the buyer has not already found a better, faster, less annoying answer somewhere else. And now, AI search makes the gated content problem more obvious because if your best educational content is locked behind a form, then it's probably not participating in the discovery layer at all. Conductor published a 2026 piece specifically about making gated content crawlable to all AI search bots, warning that when these bots can't crawl gated assets, then they can't cite them. ZipTie made the point even more clearly. AI crawlers and search engine bots cannot fill out forms, which means content behind the gate can become invisible to AI systems. The point I want to make about all this is the more friction you put between your content and the open web, the less likely that content is to shape the public record around your brand. And in a zero-click world, the public record matters because buyers are forming opinions before they visit your site. And if your best argument is hidden behind a form, you may have protected the asset while weakening its influence. That's the trade-off. Let's not ask ourselves, should we gate this, as if gating is a yes or no question. The better question is, what part of this should be freely available because it helps buyers understand us, trust us, remember us, or cite us, and what part is valuable enough that a buyer would reasonably trade their information for it. Because not all gates are bad, right? Like a live webinar registration makes sense if there's a real live experience. A benchmark report can be gated if the ungated version still gives people the core findings and the gated version offers deeper cuts, charts, segmentation, or implementation detail. A template can be gated if it saves the buyer meaningful work, but a gate should not be a toll booth in front of basic information. A gate should be a doorway into something more useful. That is the distinction. Ungate the argument, gate the utility. Ungate the point of view, gate the tool. Ungate the framework, gate the implementation kit. Ungate enough that a buyer can learn from you, quote you, share you, cite you, and remember you. Then gate the thing that actually makes their life easier. Because the problem with a lot of gated content is that it asks for trust before it has earned trust. And buyers aren't stupid. They know what happens when they fill out the form. And sure, some buyers will still fill it out, but they're increasingly asking, is this worth it? Is this company going to annoy me? Can I get the same information somewhere else? And if the answer is yes, they can get it somewhere else, then they probably will, especially now that the information environment has changed. Gartner's 2026 survey found that 67% of B2B buyers prefer a representative-free experience. That doesn't mean buyers never want salespeople, but it means that they want to engage on their terms, not yours. They want control. They want to learn before they talk. They want to compare before they commit. And a lot of gated content violates that preference. It says, no, you have to learn our terms. And our terms include a required business email, full name, company size, phone number, and job title. This is also why gated content becomes such a measurement crutch. It gives marketing a number. It gives downloads, registrations, MQLs, conversion rate, cost per lead. And these numbers are comforting because they look real and they fit into a dashboard. But the truth is, a form fill is not the same thing as demand. Sometimes it just means I want this template. I'm your competitor, or I'm trapped in a meeting and I needed a stat. So before you gate the next report, webinar, ebook, guide, or whatever we're calling our PDFs this quarter, ask yourself 3 questions. First, would a smart buyer be annoyed if this were behind a form? Second, is this information valuable enough that someone would still want it after AI search, Reddit, YouTube, and your competitors have already given them a decent answer? Because if your gated asset is just a slower version of an answer they can get somewhere else, then you don't have premium content. You just have friction. And third, are we gating this because it creates more value for the buyer or because it creates a cleaner number for us? That one hurts, huh? But it's probably the most important question because a lot of gated content exists not because buyers need it, but because marketers need something countable. And that's not good marketing strategy. That's a dashboard strategy. So yes, keep the good gates. Keep the live events. We do this at SparkToro. Keep the templates that save someone 3 hours. Keep the deep research downloads if the ungated version still gives people the core insight. But stop hiding your best ideas from the internet and then wondering why buyers are forming opinions without you. Because now it's a 0-click world, friends. And changing someone's mind without relying on the clicks and form fills is a whole game. And good luck to all of us. And by the way, don't forget to pick up your pre-order of the 0-Click Marketing book on zeroclickmarketing.co/book. Pre-orders get you some sick discounts on our lovely SparkToro audience research software and AlertMouse, which is the better version of Google Alerts. And you will also get a seat to our 0-Click Summer School live webinars. We actually have a really nice lineup of guests like Jaya Kunzo, Kaylee Moore, Rachel Downey, Kevin Indig, and lots more. That's today, and I'll see you next week.